Hello guys, welcome to another video on Assetto Corsa Competizione on the PlayStation 5. Today I'm just going to go through my wheel settings very quickly because I know quite a few of you have asked for them recently. So if we get the settings up here, we've got the gain on 80. Now that's a little bit stronger than it was on the 1.8 version. We now have the option to go up to 200% on the gain. Personally, I think I was on about 65 maybe before, so I just need to increase that a little bit. So 80% feels good for me. Minimum force I've got on 0. We've got dynamic damping on 100. I think I've increased that from 80. Then road effects, I used to run that on 0. That's now 20 as well. The steering lock is 180 degrees, so I'm on a Fanatec CSL Elite, and if I run that on 180 degrees, then I'm able to, or the game is able to auto set the rotation for each car, so I don't have to do that manually. And then you can see I've got a brake dead zone and a throttle dead zone. So when I fully press my throttle or accelerator, I don't get the full amount of throttle or brake on the HUD without a dead zone. So adding the dead zone enables me to get the full amount of throttle or brake when looking at the HUD in the bottom right hand corner. So button wise, it's all pretty straightforward. I've got shift up and shift down on R1 and L1, which are just the flappy pedals on my wheel. Ignition is R3 and starter is R2 for me. They're fairly easy to reach. Obviously it's going to be a bit quicker if you have your starter and ignition on manual for pit stops, so it's quicker to pit with manual starter and ignition than it is doing auto starter and ignition. Then we've got the pit limiter, very important, you don't want to forget to set that. We've also got increase and decrease the traction control mapped, as well as increase and decrease brake bias. They're the ones I tend to adjust the most during the course of a race, so it felt like it was a good idea to have those mapped. The ABS, generally if I need to adjust that, I do that via the MFD, and the MFD button for me is L3. And then we've got flasher on circle. It's very good to have flasher maps so that if you're coming up behind a car you're about to overlap or something, you can flash them. Cycle camera on square, always useful to be able to change the camera if necessary. I don't change camera that often, but sometimes it's necessary because you can't do that on the HUD, so it's useful to do. Look back X, it's very important to look back. I know you get the mirror above your head, but it's very good to be able to look back as well. And then finally, the last button I've got mapped is the pit stop. So when you're driving around, you've got a pit stop coming up, I like to have a button I can just press to go straight to the pit stop menu rather than having to cycle through all the different menus on the MFD. So I know that if I press L2, I can go straight to the pit stop menu. For those of you that are on a Fanatec wheel, I've put my Fanatec tuning menu settings in the video description, so just check out the description below and you'll be able to see all of my Fanatec settings there. Another thing a few of you have asked for is to see my field of view settings. So this is what we've got currently in the Ferrari. The main one is the field of view itself, so I've got that set to 48 degrees, and then depending on what car I'm in, so I use 48 degrees in every car, and then depending on what car I'm in, I change the pitch, the height and the distance so that everything kind of lines up with the wheel I've got in front of me. So I want it to look as realistic as if I was in a real cockpit. So I don't want the dash really high on the screen. I bring it down towards the wheel. So generally I tend to reduce the height a little bit, but like I said, it varies from car to car because the interior of each car is a little bit different. So thanks for watching guys, I hope that's helped. Give the video a thumbs up if you did find it useful, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you again very soon.